Well, so we're ready to do the newspapers. Mamavi is here. Well, Mamavi, how are you?
Why are you changing your tone?
Yeah, just
why
you know,
are you trying to be nice?
One of those
Let everybody know
you try to
how you treat me, like how you communicate.
Oh, it's not fair.
Don't try and polish it.
Yeah, I want to say very good morning to Ifo Antoinette. You live in Rome for the United Kingdom. It's been a while I've mentioned your name. Sally for Combat, you live right here in Ghana. And you're the head of primary healthcare pharmacy, the Boku Presbyterian Hospital. And then in the meantime, I have to say good morning to Benjamin Kujotufuomeno. You also live in the UK. Have a great time.
You're done.
I have more.
I see because there are people in the UK watching. That's why you're trying to.
Yeah, we have international.
You're changing your tone and everything.
Audience spectrums in our demographics. So, Charlie.
Well, good morning to all our friends who are watching our show right now. This is the AM show. If you missed the news, don't worry. We're on to the newspapers. We'll fill you in on everything that you've missed. Two of our colleagues are joining us via Zoom for the review. Joseph Akable, and there you are, Inshirado. Yeah. Good morning to you guys.
Joseph.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Inshirado, we're fine.
Inshirado, where are you?
He's monitoring the weather.
I'm standing out in the open. It's quite cloudy, and there's a very soft breeze from the south heading towards the northeastern part of the country. Whether it would rain or not, I'm not too sure.
I was just going to say that's our weatherman, Inshirado.
I thought a question to Inshira would be what happened to him yesterday? He disappeared before the review ended.
Oh, I know what happened. I know.
You know, when you have colleagues like Joseph on your team, you know questions like this will always be asked. Yes, technology failed. But today, I'm with you, and all is well.
Okay, good.
Fantastic.
So Inshira will do the Finder in the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Akable will do the Daily Guide. And I think the Statement, is that it? And I've got the Daily Graphic newspaper. So shall we start with you, gentlemen, via Zoom?
Yeah. Okay. So the Ghanaian Times banner headline, 1,100 land in Accra from different destinations. COVID-19 update says the... Konfanochi orders doctors and nurses at ICU to self-quarantine for 14 days. The NHIA boss tests positive for COVID-19. On the front page of the Finder, airlifting of Ghanaians stranded abroad. They're quoting a different number, 1,056 people, and coming home from today through to Sunday. Noguchi gets 10,000 test kit from Ghana COVID-19 private sector fund, and the dexamethasone is a life-saving drug. Of course, yesterday we heard about that groundbreaking news that there's a drug that's cheap and might be able to help. Back to you, Joseph.
We can do the front page of the Daily Guide now. It has this story related to the banter between the NDC and NPP over fulfilled promises. NPP pokes NDC. Amidu office's manifesto promise. It has a photograph of Kojo Nkrumah, Minister of Information, and Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa of the NDC. NDC exposed in EC 6,300 mischief, and Nigel Gaze's sex partners came to beg. That's attributed to Kennedy Japan. And SHS heads prepare for reopening also on the front page of the Daily Guide newspaper. The front page of the Daily Statesman, it says 375 aspirants, 168 constituencies. That's, sorry, as the MPP prepares for the June 20 primaries, also on the front page of the Daily Statesman newspaper. COVID-19 not excuse to reject new voters register, also on the front page of the Daily Statesman.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that respite.
Let's do the Daily Graphic whilst you get ready for that. Front page of the Graphic, 33,367 to serve as registration centers. Exercise takes place in 5 phases. The Electoral Commission boss appeared before the Special Budget Committee of Parliament. We know that the Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu was unhappy about some of the revelations. One is the fact that the Electoral Commission explains that they are going to carry out this exercise in phases. We're going to be opening up the issues of the Electoral Commission, the registration exercise, and the election itself later this morning on our show. So don't miss that extensive conversation. Also, standoff at Tema Ports Port workers married units disagree over container vessels. In the center spread, curbing tax fraud, GRA sets up audit departments. Also, we're committed to evacuating all stranded Ghanaians. That's Foreign Minister Ayoko Boche there. UN commends Ghana for promoting child rights. And on the back page of the Daily Graphic, 2 sign Railway Development Pact and construction of fish processing factory starts in Jakiti. The Gold Street Business, next front page. Workers fret over falling real income. Rising inflation deepens woes created by job losses, pay cuts, delayed wage payments. Also, huge technical support for Ghana's textile industry impending as JIPA pursues buyers for the sector. Ghana moves to generate 1 gigawatt nuclear power by 2030. That it comes with a picture of the Energy Minister, Peter Amewu. On the back page, Vodafone reassures customers of data security and rejects misleading privacy claims. We know somebody's gone to the court. Ghana Heart Initiative donates PPEs to, that's the Kolibu Teaching Hospital and the Komfanochi Teaching Hospital. That will be it for this paper, the Gold Street Business.
Well, let's do the dispatches on the front page. MPs hide coronavirus status for fear of losing seats, psychologists. SHS heads in the Eastern region ready to protect students against COVID-19. Abu Sakara on Ghana's winner takes all. That's on page 2. Drivers, farmers, and teachers responsible for 640 teenage pregnancies in a month in the central region. And ex-President Hela Liman's years in Ghanaian politics, all the history you can get on Ghana's social, political, economic development. You can all get in the Daily Dispatch. Let's go to the Custodian, has on the front page. Judgment day for MPP MPs, top lawmakers to win primaries. We have Hajia Alima Mahama, MP for Nalrugo Gambaga, who is the only female apparently MPP MP for Northern Ghana. And according to the paper, that's the Custodian, she's tipped to win the primaries. Mr. Obiamwa, MP for Ikrapim South, also tipped to win. Custodian, tipping. Then we have MP for Laura Anthony Abeifa Kabo, will be among the winners, the Custodian. And then we have this one. I don't know whether this is supposed to be a verdict or I'm supposed to take the Custodian's verdict. Navrongo Central MP Joseph Kofi Adam faces stiff opposition but likely to win.
You know,
Custodian.
when you started, I was just going to mention Madam Abai again. I was going to say that that's a place to look at as well. We'll see how that goes, but it's just this weekend. And it will be interesting. Yeah. Really interesting. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see those who come back and start talking.
One of the main symptoms of COVID is coughing, sneezing, some of it, all on the front page.
Is somebody coughing on Zoom?
I don't know, yeah. Tama West MP, that's Kingsley Carlos Ahinkrama MP, expected to go through. Hey, Charlie, only. And then MP for Takrade Kwabna Otredaku Mensa faces tough opposition but likely to survive. Almost like an earthquake, but you're likely to survive. So we have other stories there, COVID, EC. You know, we have Dr. Bosman Asari right here on the show. Now let's do the dispatch. The Daily Dispatch says all the related issues about coronavirus and why the MPs are heading, but is the Daily Guide remains interesting. It fully focuses on the politics. MPP pokes NDC, Amido office's manifesto promise. And then we have NDC MPs exposing all the related issues of EC 6,300 mischief. And then Nigel Gaze's sex partners came to beg. He has an attached picture of Nigel Gaze as well as Kennedy Japan. SHS heads prepare for reopening. All right, please.
You're done?
Yeah, I'm done.
There's, I think, was it Inshira who talked about, yes, Komfanochi and the doctors? That was also reported by us yesterday. But the news today is the fact that the Ghana Medical Association president in the region, Dr. Pakwesi Beidou, says that out of the 80 doctors who have been infected with COVID, 20 of them are from the Ashanti region. But there's also another worrying situation where the Komfo Teaching Hospital, because they don't have a facility, a separate facility to keep persons with COVID, they're having to share with other wards at the Komfo Teaching Hospital. So that's a situation that, you know, he says is warning that the Ashanti region COVID-19 mortalities could increase if government does not set up a dedicated facility to receive COVID-19 positive patients. Erastus Asari-Donko had an extensive conversation with Dr. Parkwesi Bedo. We'll bring you that conversation on our show later this morning. I just thought that I would, you know, just share a bit of that warning with all of us. The fact that Komfo is huge, it serves you know, a huge populace as well. And if they don't have a separate facility where they will keep persons with COVID-19, so they're having to share with the general wards, that's not good at all. But at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, that's the Rich Hospital we call it, there are fears, you know, when pregnant women who are going to have their babies, people are generally afraid because of COVID-19. Well, they're trying to warm the hearts of people who are getting ready to deliver. They said they have a particular place that they've prepared. So don't be afraid. If you want to have your child there, you can. So that was also in our news this morning on radio. I thought I'll share that. Any picks, any particular stories that you guys want to highlight on?
Joseph, you have any pick? You want us to focus on? You were at the briefing yesterday. Joseph, you're muted.
No, I'm not. This is Shira who is muted.
Okay. Please go ahead. You have any pick, Joseph?
Yes, the story relating to the Ashanti region, the bit about the need for an isolation center. I recall an interview Latif had with Dr. Kaba. He is in charge of institutional care for the Ghana Health Service. And the point was made that a lot of Ghana's recoveries for COVID-19 are actually persons who are in treatment facilities. They tend to recover faster than those who are being kept at homes and being treated at their homes. And so that is another thing that we need to note about the fact that it's very necessary for them to have a dedicated facility. And it's very worrying that they have to be using the wards that others sometimes also may come into use. And the fact that the staff strength of the hospital has also been affected. I think we need to take the fight a notch higher in terms of how we are dealing with the facilities and protecting the healthcare professionals. And I heard at the GMA last Friday make the call that they want their members to be tested first and promptly, so that those who are infected are quickly removed and treated quickly, because they are the ones who have the capacity to assist all of us. And if their numbers are affected greatly, it means that in the long run, we, the persons without any knowledge in this space, when we get the disease, would virtually have no one to take care of us. And so I think that is an area that government should be stepping up its effort in terms of assisting healthcare professionals and ensuring that they don't even get infected in the first place.
Absolutely.
And we do know that we have these number of doctors and the health nurses that are at the forefront in Ghana. According to the statistics we have from the statistical survey from the last census, there's an indication that out of 100,000 people, we only tend to have about 1.8 doctors available. And generally, we just have in excess of some 3,000 doctors, 14,000 nurses. We still don't have enough. And so while the numbers may pale in terms of how small they are compared to the numbers that we have of the professionals, we still very much have to be careful about the extent to which they are infected. I am greatly worried because I'm very close to many health professionals who are the front line, either friends or family, etc. And what they tell me is now frightening, because at least in the hospitals in Accra and Tema, initially they were reporting the cases from the communities through the contact tracing. Now they are treating patients at adult emergencies and normal wards, and by the time they come and take the samples, and because of the delays in bringing back the result, we're having health professionals in hospitals in Tema and Accra getting infected, because by the time they test positive, they've been either crowded by families and health professionals. And we should be worried. We don't have even enough of them at these hospitals, and the cases are now coming to the wards. They are being treated with initial symptoms like malaria, etc. And by the time they see they are positive, the health professionals are affected. I don't know. I think something needs to be done about the way the regime is done. Now, we have to, I think, in my estimation, declassify or perhaps restructure who becomes a frontline worker in this. It's no more the only health professionals who take care of the sick or the positive patients. It has to be all those from the OPD to the wards to the isolation centers.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, it's quite frightening when you live and then you work and relate to some of the health professionals. They are so frightened, it's not funny.
Well, they have every cause to be concerned. I think that, you know, we never anticipated that we would get to where we are now. We believe some of the measures we had put in place earlier on was going to forestall where we find ourselves right now. The biggest challenge is going to be that when the cases, as they are coming in now, start testing our systems, that's where we have problems. Now, you're going to have quite a number of people who themselves are to care, now needing care. And that will place even more pressure on the resources that are not enough. You don't have a lot of beds to patients, and now you're going to have to combine and cordon off spaces on general wards to bring in infectious disease patients onto the ward. I mean, if you would do the permutation, and the picture just doesn't look good.
Yeah.
It comes down to us just taking personal responsibility and ensuring that you're safe. If I do what I have to do, then we limit it. But we need to do something and do it very quickly. So
yesterday we talked about the mandatory wearing of masks and the fact that it's got implications now. I did my checks. We actually don't have any existing law. We need to wait for the EI. That's still being worked on. So again, President made an announcement and said it's mandatory. The police will deal with you if you don't wear the mask. That was on Sunday, but here we are Wednesday, and there's no backing instruments.
Yeah. It's frightening.
Any other picks?
Well, I wanted to take a look at the elections, and I know that there's always a hue and cry ongoing. Yesterday, the Electoral Commission went to meet the committee and then also the leadership of Parliament appropriately. And I see that the minority and sections of the majority may not be happy, but everybody needs their hands on the wheel. Everyone needs his or her hand on the wheel. And it's important that we all make this work. This is what we have. We have a certain timetable. If the structure of our democracy is not protected, it also affects the very fiber or fabric of our society. And everything is vested in the state. If you take a look at the 1992 Constitution, the executive president is even more powerful. So we need to make this work. And I believe the cooperation of all is important. I don't know what Mama V or Inshira also thinks about all this.
You are spot on that. For me, I think that we need cooperation. And I think the dialogue, whenever there's a lot of pushback on any policy, I think it's important to interrogate it. In my estimation, we often discount opposition complaints as just opposition for the sake of being opposition. The independent candidate for presidential aspirant, Mark Kofigat, has been reported as saying that he thinks that the compilation of a new voters register is not what we ought to be doing right now, not necessary, especially with just less than 6 months to go to elections. The borders are currently closed, so Ghanaians who are stranded, who may not be able to get on this voluntary move to be repatriated back home and be able to get on the electoral roll, will be disenfranchised. I think that there are quite a lot of elements that are not fully assembled in this case, but the EC may have a set of facts, and they see what we don't see, so we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But I think it's a very delicate thing, and cool heads must reign. And more importantly, we must understand that everything we do around elections is a matter of posterity, protecting the integrity of the state that we have and ensuring that we're on the agenda and the right track to our development. We cannot play games with this one, be it political or parochial, not on this.
Yeah, I like very much what you just said. If you do, we will see it. In the end, it will show. Joseph?
I agree with Inshira perfectly. I mean, and I think I look forward to the decision that the Supreme Court will give on June 23 related to the compilation of the voter register. I mean, the matters that Inshira raised, some of them are not really issues that may be of consideration to the court at this point in time. The issues about persons who are outside the country who can't participate in this registration because of the border issues, among others, as to whether at that time, even though we would have opened up the border, we don't know. Then the cases are just rising. And so, I mean, I think it's important that the courts in coming to the conclusion, even though mostly to look at the legal argument that is before it, I mean, there are times in the past that the court has taken account of public policy as well. And so those are matters that the court cannot ignore, obviously. And so we hope that it comes with a decision that the parties involved in the case will come to some form of agreement and ensure that we all come together and have this process, because the legal experts have made it clear to us that we don't have any option than to have elections. And so if we're going to have it, it should be a conduct that we must all come to some agreement and be comfortable with the process, because if you have elections and people are not comfortable with it and who don't trust it, I mean, what is the point in the elections in the first place? It should be such that people trust it and can even go through the process to challenge it if they disagree.
Well, we have a conversation with Dr. Bosman Asare.
I think the question I would like to ask Dr. Bosman will be related to the ROPA. You know, the Supreme Court has given an order that Ghanaians outside abroad should, the Ghanaians residents abroad should participate in the 2020 elections. If they cannot allow them, they should announce 6 months ahead of that. I mean, with the COVID-19, obviously, that is a challenge. They are compiling new register, they can't even register them. As to whether they've suspended that exercise entirely, those are questions that we should be finding out. And I look forward to that interview with Dr. Bosman.
Great. That will be on our show this morning. If you've got questions for us, kindly send it to a WhatsApp number so I can carry it with me and ask all your questions. It's a conversation with Dr. Bosman Asare. And it's not just how it played out in Parliament yesterday, but, you know, a much more deeper conversation as to the general election as well.
Yeah.
All right.
Do we have time for one quick story?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's really so the back page of the Ghanaian Times, I really like this story. Whole West launches a one household, one fruit tree initiative. So they're giving away seedlings, about 100,000 cashew seedlings. They're also doing 1,500 citrus seedlings and about 2,500 coconut seedlings. For me, this is important because if we're going to really save our earth, we need to ensure we have a lot more trees to do the carbon offsetting. And more importantly, these being fruit trees could also provide, you know, some food security for these areas. And if they're able to continue this across the entire country, I think we would change the ecosystem greatly. It would inure to our general benefit both now and in the future. I think it's a laudable policy and initiative.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you very much for environmentalist Inshira and the arts lover, comrade Joseph Akable behind Bob Marley.
All right, but big ups to the whole municipality. I think they're doing something great. Yesterday we talked about the bylaws that they put in place so that if you don't wear the mask, they spot fine you. And now this initiative, which is Whole West. So they're doing something great. We need to shout them out. Thank you, guys. This is where we have to end the review. Looking forward to the English Premier League.
Yeah, starting today. Yeah.
Yes, I'm not looking forward to it because
I thought the league would have been cancelled.
No way.
See, all the anti-Liverpool supporters, we see you in your true colors.
All right, guys, have a good one today. That's
a good one. I enjoyed it.
Joining us for the review. Stay with us. We've got sports, and I guess the biggest thing we're talking about is the English Premier League is back, is on tonight. Details coming up here on our show. Stay with us.